Hi, I'm Liz. This is the first yin yoga practice in the series of 5 that I'll be doing for you, focusing on the 5 elements from Chinese medicine theory. So there is a previous video before this that will kind of explain very briefly or in layman's terms about the elements and about the meridian lines that run through our system. So if you feel like you need to go back and watch that, please do. Otherwise, get yourself comfortable, make sure you have some water. You may even like to have some soft music playing in the background. Grab yoga bolsters, yoga blocks, cushions, blankets, whatever you feel you need to make the most out of this practice. If you don't have any of that, just yourself is fine. Make sure you're wearing something comfortable. You've got a comfortable space for yourself. So our first practice will be focusing on the fire element. I thought that seems fit as we are kind of in the middle of our summer here in Australia, and the fire element, its season is summer. So we will begin with that one. I'll be teaching it a little bit differently to how I would normally teach a yin yoga practice. I'm going to be referring to an amazing book that I have been reading called The Power of the 5 Elements, the Chinese Medicine Path to Healthy Aging and Stress Resistance. It's just great. I can't really say it any better myself, so I will be kind of referring to that. And you may kind of feel like, yeah, I really relate to this element. So going through little different things about the element and then ways that you can really tap into it and bring it back into balance if you feel like you may be a little bit out of balance with this element within you. So I'm going to map out the heart and the small intestine meridian lines first. They are the meridian lines that relate to the fire element. So get yourself comfortable. You may want to sit up, you may want to lay down. You can, if you like, visualize these lines as I read them out, or you may just like to listen to where they are mapped out in the body. So just getting yourself comfortable. Again, I'll just be reading it from a book. I don't know it off the top of my head. It says take a little moment. If you're sitting up, making sure you are sitting tall with the spine long, shoulders down. You might close the eyes down or bring the eyes into a soft gaze. If you are laying down, just making sure you're comfortable. You might need some support underneath your knees, and just making sure that you stay awake and aware. So just take a moment, start to breathe in through the nose. You might do a few breaths out of the mouth. Start to bring that focus or your focus to the breath. And just thanking yourself for making the time to be here. Giving yourself this space, giving yourself this time. Seeing if you can start to let the body relax a little bit more. So you might be hunching the shoulders up, you might be squinting through the eyes, you might be clenching the jaw. Let's do a nice little scan through the body, relaxing the shoulders down, relax the hands, relax the thighs and the feet. So starting with our heart meridian line, there are different branches with each line. The 3 branches of the heart meridian begin in the heart. One branch flows downward through the diaphragm to meet the small intestines. Another rises up alongside the throat and ends in the eye. The third runs across the chest through the lungs and comes out through the armpit. It flows along the midline of the inside upper arm, through the inner elbow, along the midline of the inner lower arm until it crosses the wrist and palm and ends in the inside tip of the little finger, where it connects to the small intestine meridian. So 3 branches of the heart meridian begin in the heart. 1 branch flows downward through the diaphragm to meet the small intestines. Another rises up alongside the throat and ends in the eye. The 3rd runs across the chest, through the lungs, and comes out through the armpit. It flows along the midline of the inside upper arm, through the inner elbow, along the midline of the inner lower arm, until it crosses the wrist and palm and ends in the inside tip of the little finger, where it connects to the small intestine meridian. So disorders of the heart and chest, such as palpitations, pain, insomnia, night sweats, and mental problems may signal problems with this meridian. So just taking a little moment, don't stress about having to get it right. So you can just think from the heart center of your body, and we'll mainly be focusing coming out through the chest, down through the arms, into the hands. Take a breath in, breath out. So moving on now to its partner, the small intestine meridian. The small intestine meridian begins at the outer tip of the little finger. It runs along the back edge of the hand, through the wrist, upward along the outer forearm and upper arm to the shoulder. After circling the back of the shoulder, it meets the governor vessel meridian. So that is one of the extra meridian lines that runs down the midline of the body. Here it branches, with 1 branch going inside the body and descending through the heart, diaphragm, and stomach before ending in the small intestine. Another branch ascends along the side of the neck to the cheek and outer corner of the eye, and then goes to the ear. Another small branch leaves the cheek to run to the inner eye, where it meets the urinary bladder meridian. The small intestine meridian begins at the outer tip of the little finger. It runs along the back edge of the hand, through the wrist, upward along the outer forearm and upper arm to the shoulder. After circling the back of the shoulder, it meets the governor vessel meridian. Here it branches, with 1 branch going inside the body and descending through the heart, diaphragm, and stomach before ending in the small intestine. Another branch ascends along the side of the neck to the cheek and outer corner of the eye, and then goes to the ear. Another small branch leaves the cheek to run to the inner eye, where it meets the urinary bladder meridian. Disharmony may be indicated by ear, eye, or stomach problems, such as deafness, pain in the lower abdomen, or pain in the shoulders or neck. So again, it's taking a little moment. You may just want to listen. You may just want to kind of map that out, starting from the inside little finger, coming up through the arms, into the chest, down through the diaphragm, and then coming back up, meeting in the eye. Take a breath in, and breath out. So our first shape, I'm going to be coming into supported fish. And this is just a lovely opening through the front side of the body, through the chest, through the heart area. So a couple of options. So if you've got a bolster, you can have it going lengthways down the spine, or you can have it going across the spine. you've got a yoga block, I would suggest having it going lengthways down through the spine, starting somewhere at the kind of lower ribcage area, meeting up through the shoulder blade area. You're going to lay back onto the support. So whatever you've got, could be a cushion or even a towel that's rolled up. And you can either sit kind of in front of the bolster if you've got one, or sit on it, and then lay back. Bring the hands up, and then open the arms out wide. And just take a little moment. Do whatever you want to do with the legs. They may be bent, they may be out straight. You may even want to cross them over or come into a butterfly-like position. So we're looking for some kind of sensation through the chest area, coming out across the chest into the front of the shoulders and down through the arms. So you may need to explore that a little bit. You might want to reach the arms up a little bit higher. Just be mindful of the neck and shoulders, or it may feel best to bring them down a little bit lower. So the simplicity of our yin practice is we find the position. And it may take a little bit of time. We find a position that we can stay in for some time. And all you need to do is relax as much as you can. Bring focus into your breath. And then focus into your body. So the sensations that you may be feeling in this shape. And if that is your yin yoga practice, that is amazing. So just staying in this position. If you need to move, let yourself move. But ultimately finding a position that you can stay in for some time. I'm just going to read a little bit about the fire adaptation type. The fire energy is the source of joy, happiness, and emotional protection for the heart. When well adapted, this energy leads to open-heartedness, intimacy, generosity of spirit, optimism, joy, and the heartfelt expression of love. These qualities might seem easily accessed by other types, but for the fire adaptation type, they are the major themes in maintaining adaptation and health. The fire archetypes, the lover and the protector of the heart, represent the capacity to develop the deepest and most intimate connection between people and are the root of erotic love. Understanding that one can be open-hearted and take risks with these most basic of emotions without feeling vulnerable to injury and betrayal fosters deep and long-lasting relationships between friends and lovers alike. Staying connected into the breath. Exploring where you feel that. So it may be across the chest, it may be through the front of the shoulder areas. You might even feel it all the way down the arm line. Take 3 more breaths. Once you've taken those 3 breaths, just very slowly bringing yourself up and out of the shape. And between our shapes, we'll just do whatever you feel you need to do. So it might be kind of reversing that little bit of curve through the spine, coming up, rolling the spine up towards the ceiling. It might be a couple of cat-cows that you take. You may want to take a child's pose, downward facing dog, or you may just want to remove the support from underneath the spine and lay flat down on the back. And just do whatever you need to do. So coming up now to the hands and knees. So a couple of different options for this shape. This one is quite a strong shape, especially through the thoracic spine area and through the front of the shoulders and the chest as well. So we're going to be coming into melting heart. To get into this shape, the knees want to stay underneath your hips. You're going to walk your hands forward. And then when you're going to get to a point where you feel like you can drop the chest down to the floor, and this is what I mean by being quite a strong position. The chin might rest down on the floor. You might rest the head to one side if that feels okay for the neck. You want to make sure the knees stay over or under your hips. And it's coming down. So remember, we want to be able to relax as much as we can, which might kind of seem like how the hell am I meant to do that in this position? But if you just allow yourself to breathe, and this is why we spend the time. So it takes that time to let the body start to relax into the shape. And if you really think, no, Liz, what are you talking about? That's not for me. Coming into a child's pose. And we can really target both meridian lines here, the heart and the small intestine, by pressing the inside tip of your little finger down into the floor. So take your time. You might kind of go between shapes. It might be a little bit of child's pose, a little bit of melting heart. Breathing nice and smoothly. The art of the heart involves quieting the mind, quieting and peacefulness. The small intestine energy quiets the mind, not allowing excessive or irrelevant thoughts or distractions to overwhelm the heart. Discrimination, prioritization, judgment, and simplification come from the small intestine. Confusion, hesitation, anxiety, and insomnia are common when the energy of the small intestine is in balance. The master of the heart, the pericardium, and the sympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system runs down the spinal cord. A pericardium is a fascial sac that wraps the heart. Protects against insults from emotional vulnerability, especially in relationships, while providing the circulation of love and consciousness from the heart to the entire body, as well as to other people. Shyness, moodiness, and fatigue can occur when this energy is not strong. And just bringing that focus back into your breath. back into the body. So the Chinese theory, really simple. How well do you adapt to the stresses of life? So do you see challenges as opportunities? Or do you think, oh my God, why is this happening? And that all kind of begins with the way that you perceive things. Take 3 more breaths. And slowly coming up and out of the shape. Just doing whatever you feel you need to do. So we're going to move on to our next shape. So a couple of different options for this one. It's going to be quite a strong opening through one side of the chest and front of the shoulder area. Again, you may feel that all the way down the arm, just depending on what's happening in your body. So we spend a lot of time, on computers, on phones, driving, and stress as well is going to cause the shoulders to roll inwards. So we get this internal rotation of the shoulders. What we're going to do here, or the big focus of this practice, is opening all of that back up. So opening up through the heart, opening up through the chest and the shoulders. So we can come into external rotation, or just at least so we can stand with the shoulders back. So coming down to your belly, I'm going to take one arm out. I might go this way just so I can see it a little bit more, or you can see it a little bit more, not me. So one arm is going to come out and just bring it just a little bit lower than the shoulder joint. And then you're going to take the other arm, bring it down sort of close to your chest on the other side. You're going to press into that hand, lift the back leg up, and then take that over to the other side. You can rest the head down on the ground. Now if you think, I want a little bit more, another option is to come back to your stomach, bring that back leg, bring the foot up near your hip, like that, so the knee's going to bend, and then you're going to really press into that hand and start to open up through that shoulder of the hand that's out long. You can rest the head down. You might need something underneath the head here. So a block, a cushion, a bolster. And we're using effort from this side of the body to press in to open up through this side. So just do whatever feels best for you. If there's any kind of really yucky feelings in the neck and the shoulder, I would suggest to come out, reset yourself, and just go into a position where you don't have those sensations. Find that position. Again, you may take that a little bit of time. So with our yin yoga practice, there's a saying, if you are feeling it, you are doing it. So you don't need to go to the point where you're like, oh my God, this is really, really strong. You just want to start at that first point of sensation. And as we spend time in the shape, you may find that you can go a little bit deeper into the shape, but using the breath as the invitation to take it deeper. So don't force it, just let it naturally happen. Optimism, enthusiasm, and a positive attitude that can pervade daily life are other gifts from the heart and the fire element. Wouldn't it be nice if the internal sun, a correspondence for fire in the natural world, shined every day, bringing illumination and joy? That is the well-adapted energy from the fire element. It gives us the power to engage and contact the outside world and develop relationships to get fired up, have a spark, and be excited about life. It corresponds to courage and conviction, manifestation of goals, enthusiasm, and energy. The fire element energy brings optimism, smiling, laughter, and sunshine into life. So knowing that we all have these energies, these elements within us. So at different times in our life, we can tap into these energies when needed. And maybe every day. So the little question to ask yourself is, are you an optimist or are you a pessimist? How do you think about what's happening in your life, in the world? So it's good to know that there's so much we can't control in life, but we can control our own inner world, the way we respond to life, the way you think about life. Take 3 more breaths. And slowly bringing yourself out. Again, taking whatever movement or stillness you feel you need. And then what we do to one side, we do to the next. So setting yourself up. The other arm will go out long. And then just doing whatever feels best on this side. It may feel really different. So with our yin practice, we don't need to know why or figure out why there's these differences that we may have from side to side in the body. We just experience them, we feel them, we go, okay, acknowledge it, that's there, and just get into the shape that works best for you on this side. It's that simple. The mind often though wants to figure things out and know why. Just letting that go for now. Just allow the body to feel into the position. Adapted fire adaptation types can be good teachers and be in leadership positions. When they enter the room, they often take over the conversation and stand out with a natural charm. People are drawn to their enthusiasm, warmth, and cheerfulness. They are concerned for others and the greater good and see themselves as being important in the bigger scheme of things. The function of the heart as emperor, concern for the welfare of all subjects, is the essence of the generosity and wisdom presented by the well-adapted fire type. So when the fire energy is well adapted in stressful situations, fire adaptation types are able to use the connection with Shen to rise above the chaos and strife and maintain calmness and authority. Fire adaptation type coping strategies include engaging with other people to create unity for dealing with stress and bringing humour to a difficult situation. optimism, natural leadership ability, and a knack for making light of difficult situations are qualities common to most, although not all, fire adaptation types. Attracting other people to them when the chips are down. People want to be around their positive and sunny energy to feel their power and to energize themselves. Take 3 more breaths. And slowly coming up and out of the shape. Take that movement, take that stillness. Just paying attention as well to what you're feeling when you come out. There's lots happening as we hold the position, and there's lots happening as we move out of the position as well. So by that I mean happening through those energetic lines. You might feel kind of tingling sensations or just some kind of sensation through that area. Coming down onto your back now. So 2 more shapes, one for each side, coming into a spinal twist. So little options here. So you can have the feet to the floor, let the knees drop down to one side, the arms can reach out wide. You can look over that opposite shoulder if that feels okay, or just look wherever you kind of naturally want to rest the head. If you want to feel a little bit more through this chest area, upper body area, hug the knees into your chest, roll the whole body to the side, so you're in the fetal position, and then roll the upper body back to the mat. So that shoulder touches down, the arms are reaching out. And then just letting the body relax as much as you can. You might do a little scan through the body, starting at the eyes, moving down through the jaw, the shoulders, the hands, the thighs, the feet. Just relaxing it bit by bit. Adapted fire types often possess the following qualities: warmth, affection and engagement, energy and enthusiasm with great vitality, optimism and good humour, initiative taking, overcoming hesitation and doubt, action orientated and stimulating to others, confidence, warmth and generosity of spirit, good communication skills, ability to speak from the heart, aliveness and vibrancy, passion and expressiveness, light-hearted playfulness, ability to be intimate, intellectual liveliness, imagination and creativity, charisma, ability to inspire, lead and energize others, ability to identify needs, set priorities, connection to a deep power within. That is Shen, I mentioned that before. That is the Shen energy of the heart. Ability to sort information well without hesitation. Imaginative. Emotionally well protected, not vulnerable. Faithful, deeply engaged as a friend.
caring in a heartfelt way and expressive of support, maturity, ability to complete actions, and ability to surrender to feelings and emotions. So that is the qualities of a well-adapted fire type. You might kind of relate to those, some of those, or all of those. So you think of that is well-adapted. What's the opposite to all of those things? And that would be a maladapted energy. So they may kind of guard their heart, feel like they are vulnerable, not that that is a bad thing. They may be pessimistic, not be able to laugh or see the good side of things. It doesn't mean that if you have those feelings sometimes that there's something wrong. It's all a natural part of life to go through the ebbs and flows. It's more if we get stuck in one of those things. So we might be constantly just negative and can't see the good things in life. And that may mean that there's some kind of stagnant energy through that meridian line, the heart or the small intestine. So these practices, these shapes, target these lines, and we can start to unblock any energetic blockages that we may have. Take 3 more breaths. And then just coming out of the shape, rolling onto the back. You might want to stretch out long. And then we will move into the other side. So taking the same position, if that feels good for you on this side, it may be a little bit different. And just taking that time, easing into it, focusing on the breath. I'm going to read a list now of things or keys that you can do, whether you're feeling like you're really connected to this fire energy, things that you can do in your life, in your daily life, to bring it back into some kind of balance. If you feel like there is something a little bit out of balance, or even if not, there's just great things that you can do that everyone can do. Practice being open-hearted and generous. Maintain calmness. Be an optimist. Keep smiling and laughing at life. You are lovable. Stay in touch. Play more. Don't interrupt. Keep it simple. Protect your heart and stay fit. Taking 3 more breaths. And slowly rolling to the back. Just take any last little movements that you feel you need. And then set yourself up for your final resting position. Make sure you're warm, you're comfortable. Just letting all of that go now. Relaxing down into the ground. You may come up to a seated position if that feels better for you. Just let the body, let the mind rest. Let it go wherever it needs to go. If you feel like you need to stay longer, please do. Starting to wriggle the fingers, wriggle the toes. Just when you feel ready, making your way to a seated position.
Thank you very much for joining me. Thanking yourself for making the time for this practice. I hope you enjoyed. It's a little different to how I would usually teach. Hopefully not too much talking for you, but just wanting to give as much information about that element as possible. So if you do have any questions, please reach out, and I will see you in the next Yin Yoga practice of our 5 element series. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day or evening, and I will see you next time.